Today, the United States informed us they will be imposing 25% tariffs on Canadian exports to the United States and 10% on Canadian energy. A decision that, should they elect to proceed with, should take effect on Tuesday, February 4th. Cette décision met en péril une relation économique historique. Une relation qui a été la source de tellement de richesses, de prospérité et de possibilités des deux côtés de la frontière. Tonight, first, I want to speak directly to Americans, our closest friends and neighbors. This is a choice that, yes, will harm Canadians, but beyond that, it will have real consequences for you, the American people. As I have consistently said, tariffs against Canada will put your jobs at risk, potentially shutting down American auto assembly plants and other manufacturing facilities. They will raise costs for you, including food at the grocery stores and gas at the pump. They will impede your access to an affordable supply of vital goods crucial for U.S. security, such as nickel, potash, uranium, steel, and aluminum. They will violate the free trade agreement that the President and I, along with our Mexican partner, negotiated and signed a few years ago. But it doesn't have to be this way. As President John F. Kennedy said many years ago, geography has made us neighbors, history has made us friends, economics has made us partners, and necessity has made us allies. That rang true for many decades prior to President Kennedy's time in office, and in the decades since. From the beaches of Normandy to the mountains of the Korean Peninsula, from the fields of Flanders to the streets of Kandahar, we have fought and died alongside you. During your darkest hours, during the Iranian hostage crisis, those 444 days we worked around the clock from our embassy to get your innocent compatriots home. During the summer of 2005, when Hurricane Katrina ravaged your great city of New Orleans, or mere weeks ago, when we sent water bombers to tackle the wildfires in California. During the day the world stood still, September 11th, 2001, when we provided refuge to stranded passengers and planes, we were always there, standing with you, grieving with you, the American people. Together, we've built the most successful economic, military, and security partnership the world has ever seen. A relationship that has been the envy of the world. Yes, we've had our differences in the past, but we've always found a way to get past them. As I've said before, if President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us. Canada has critical minerals, reliable and affordable energy, stable democratic institutions, shared values, and the natural resources you need. Canada has the ingredients necessary to build a booming and secure partnership for the North American economy, and we stand at the ready to work together. Let's take a moment to talk about our shared border. Our border is already safe and secure, but there's always more work to do. Less than 1% of fentanyl, less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States come from Canada. But hearing concerns from both Canadians and Americans, including the American president himself, we're taking action. We launched a $1.3 billion border plan that is already showing results. because we too are devastated by the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that has torn apart communities and caused so much pain and torment for countless families across Canada, just like in the United States. A drug that we too want to see wiped from the face of this earth. A drug whose traffickers must be punished. As neighbors, we must work collaboratively to fix this. Unfortunately, the actions taken today by the White House split us apart instead of bringing us together. Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives. Ce soir, j'annonce la réplique du Canada. Des tarifs douaniers de 25% sur 155 milliards de dollars de marchandises américaines. Dès mardi, 30 milliards de dollars de produits américains vont être touchés par ces tarifs et dans 21 jours, pour donner le temps aux compagnies canadiennes de trouver des options alternatives, ce sera le cas pour 125 milliards de dollars de marchandises de plus. Like the American tariffs, our response will also be far-reaching and include everyday items such as American beer, wine, and bourbon, fruits and fruit juices, including orange juice, along with vegetables, perfume, clothing, and shoes. It'll include major consumer products like household appliances, furniture, and sports equipment, and materials like lumber and plastics, along with much, much more. And as part of our response, we are considering, with the provinces and territories, several non-tariff measures, including some relating to critical minerals, energy, procurement, and other partnerships. We will stand strong for Canada. We will stand strong to ensure our countries continue to be the best neighbors in the world. With all that said, I also want to speak directly to Canadians in this moment. I'm sure many of you are anxious, but I want you to know we are all in this together. The Canadian government, Canadian businesses, Canadian organized labor, Canadian civil society, Canada's premiers, and tens of millions of Canadians from coast to coast to coast are aligned and united. This is Team Canada at its best. Plus tôt aujourd'hui, j'ai parlé avec les premiers ministres de toutes nos provinces et territoires. On est unis et solidaires. Ils ont tous appuyé notre approche. On est aussi alignés pour faire tomber les obstacles qui freinent le commerce entre nos provinces et territoires et rendre ça plus facile pour les consommateurs de choisir les produits de chez nous. Il y a quelques minutes, je me suis entretenu avec Mme Sheinbaum, la présidente du Mexique, notre autre partenaire nord-américain, qui a lui aussi été la cible de tarifs douaniers aujourd'hui. On s'est engagé à travailler ensemble pour y faire face. Il s'agit d'une menace qui vise l'ensemble du pays, et ça m'a fait chaud au cœur de voir autant de nos leaders répondre à l'appel et s'engager pour qu'aucun Canadien ne soit laissé pour compte. Notre gouvernement va être là pour les Canadiens, on va être là pour vous, mais en même temps, j'ai quelque chose à vous demander. Je vous demande d'être solidaires les uns des autres. Beaucoup d'entre nous vont être affectés par tout ça et vont vivre des moments difficiles. Je vous demande d'être là les uns pour les autres, d'être là pour vos amis, vos voisins et vos compatriotes. D'un océan à l'autre, Les Canadiens sont très différents. On parle de différentes langues, on a de différentes croyances, on a de différentes opinions, de différentes idées. Et quand on reste unis, on puise notre force dans cette différence. And now is also the time to choose Canada. There are many ways for you to do your part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking Canadian-made products. It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon, or foregoing Florida orange juice altogether. It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destinations our great country has to offer. C'est le temps de choisir des produits d'ici et d'appuyer des entreprises d'ici. D'appuyer nos producteurs agricoles, nos manufacturiers, nos travailleurs, nos entrepreneurs, nos artistes. It might mean doing all of these things or finding your own way to stand up for Canada. In this moment, we must pull together because we love this country. We pride ourselves on braving the cold during the long winter months. We don't like to beat our chests, but we're always out there, waving the maple leaf loudly and proudly to celebrate an Olympic gold medal. On a notre propre identité, notre propre histoire et nos propres valeurs. Les Canadiens sont accueillants, ouverts, novateurs, ambitieux. On préfère régler nos disputes avec diplomatie, mais on est prêt à se battre quand c'est nécessaire. Canada is home to bountiful resources, breathtaking beauty, and a proud people who've come from every corner of the globe to forge a nation with a unique identity worth embracing and celebrating. We don't pretend to be perfect, but Canada is the best country on earth. There's nowhere else that I and our 41 million strong family would rather be, and we will get through this challenge just as we've done countless times before, together. Thank you. Merci. Vive le Canada.
All right, so we'll take 20 minutes of questions, 20 minutes de questions. One question, one follow-up, une question, un suivi. Merci.
Bonsoir, Monsieur le Premier ministre, Raymond Filion de TVA. Est-ce que vous avez parlé ou tenté de parler avec le président Trump aujourd'hui ou dans les derniers jours?
Ça fait depuis l'inauguration que j'essaie de rejoindre le président.
Okay, so give you a little wrap-up of what we heard there. Canada is responding with 25% tariffs against $155 billion of American goods. $30 billion of those dollars will start on Tuesday. The other $125 billion will start in 21 days. We're going to do that 21-day buffer in order to allow supply chains to adjust and find alternatives. Trudeau saying that there will be consequences for the tariffs that are being implemented. He says that this will impact the American auto manufacturing plants, food, gas at the pump, impede Americans' access to goods like nickel, steel, and aluminum. He says it doesn't have to be this way. He brought up the fact that Canada helped America through 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, more recently during those California wildfires where we know those Canadian super scoopers fly down in order to help battle the fires from the sky. He says that less than 1%, Trudeau says less than 1% of fentanyl and less than 1% of illegal crossings come from Canada. So the big fear today, February 1st, as these new tariffs would be implemented on Canada and Mexico, was that it would implement some sort of trade war. And now we've heard that both Canada and Mexico will retaliate with tariffs of their own. Of going to try and listen to this in the background in case they go back into English.
Approvisionnement en énergie, mais la deuxième question c'était davantage sur le décret.
We have heard from Mexico's president that they are implementing retaliatory tariffs in response to President Trump's policy starting today that will implement 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada. So we heard that breaking news from the Mexican president, and then we just saw this response on camera from Justin Trudeau, still in progress now, where I'll reiterate, he announced a total of $155 billion of tariffs on American goods. $30 billion of that will start on Tuesday. The other $125 billion will start in 3 weeks' time in order to allow supply chains to adjust and find alternatives. He said this could impact goods like beer, wine, bourbon, orange juice, vegetables, perfume, clothes, household appliances, lumber, plastics. He said they'll also consider non-tariff measures as well. He advised the Canadian public to buy Canadian goods instead of American goods, even going as far as to say you should probably look at vacationing in Canada instead of the U.S. This press conference continues on with the Q&A portion. So Prime Minister Trudeau announcing retaliatory tariffs in response to Trump's tariffs. And let's just start from the beginning here. What happened today, February 1st, we anticipated that this would happen. Trump, back when he took office, just under 2 weeks' time ago, Trump gave a February 1st deadline to Canada and Mexico to reach some sort of agreement, or else these tariffs would be implemented. That includes 25% imports, 25% tariffs on imports from Mexico and Canada, and energy imports from Canada, including oil, natural gas, and electricity, would be taxed at a 10% rate. So February 1st has come, and those tariffs have come. Trump implementing these tariffs in the name of border security because of things like immigration and fentanyl that have been coming through the northern and southern borders. I'll reiterate that Prime Minister Trudeau said that less than 1% of fentanyl and less than 1% of illegal crossings come from the northern border.
Look at different ways we can
They're in English.
encourage the
Listen.
Americans to step back from these trade actions.
Bonjour, Christian Noël de Radio-Canada. Pour être clair sur cette question-là, les tarifs sur le gaz naturel et le pétrole ne sont que de 10%, alors que pour le reste, c'est de 25%, notamment parce que les États-Unis ont besoin de notre pétrole. Ils ont besoin de plein d'autres choses dans notre secteur énergétique. À quel endroit est-ce que vous êtes prêt à couper le robinet?
All right, so let's step away. We'll be awaiting and we'll be watching the president's Truth Social feed. I'll be curious to see if he has an immediate response to what Prime Minister Trudeau just said and what we've been hearing from Mexico as well. Retaliatory tariffs coming from both countries. Responding on X, let's get the Mexican response to this. Responding on X, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said that she had instructed her economy secretary to implement a response that includes retaliatory tariffs and other measures in defense of Mexico's interests. Saying on X, quote, "We categorically reject the White House's slander that the Mexican government has alliances with criminal organizations, as well as any intention of meddling in our territory. If the United States government and its agencies wanted to address the serious fentanyl consumption in their country, they could fight the sale of drugs on the streets of their major cities, which they don't do, and the laundering of money that this illegal activity generates that has done so much harm to its population." It's the Mexican president on X earlier today. Prime Minister Trudeau saying that Canada did not want this. He said earlier today, Canada does not want this, but they are prepared.
C'est le choix des Américains de nous mettre dans cette situation-là, mais puisqu'on est ici,